Hello again, everybody. I'm Scott Casper. Welcome to this edition of Takedown, your weekly source for what's trending in the world of wrestling. We go to the Amman Khomeini Sport Venue. It was filled to excess on Friday as host Iran met with Team USA in the final round of the Freestyle World Cup. Coming off a fourth-place finish in 2016, the U.S. reached the finals with victories over Georgia, Russia, and Azerbaijan. Iran struck first at 57. That's where Olympic bronze medalist Hassan Rahimi baffled world team member Tony Ramos, collecting 3 takedowns on his way to a 6-point shutout. Leading 4-0 midway through the second period at 65, Frank Molinaro gave up a pair of takedowns and a last-second step-out and fell to Massam Nassiri by the score of 5-4. With a combined record of 6-0 on the week, Logan Stever and James Green were unable to keep their undefeated tournament intact as Stever dropped a 6-2 decision against Musad Isman Pulbajabari, and Green then fell as well 2-0 to world bronze medalist Mustafa Husankani. In a must-win match at 74, Jordan Burroughs gave up an early takedown to Payman Uramati, but answered with a takedown of his own and took the match on a second-period step-out to keep the U.S. title hopes alive. The comeback continued at 86 as David Taylor put together the performance of the tournament against reigning Olympic champion Hassan Yazdan Sharati. After surrendering 3 step-outs in the opening period, the Magic Man then went to work. He posted 4 takedowns and a pin for his 3rd consecutive victory over an Olympic medalist. With the team title back within reach, Olympic and world champ Kyle Snyder picked up his 3rd victory of the week, securing 2 step-outs and a pair of takedowns on his way to a 6-point shutout over Amir Ahmadi. So it all came down to 125. Former NC State star Nick Gwizdowski and 2-time Olympic medalist Kamil Gashemi. Gwiz was unable to find his rhythm throughout as Gashemi scored early on a shot clock violation and tacked on 2 more takedowns to clinch the World Cup for Team Iran. You're watching Takedown. Stay tuned. National Duel highlights and a lot more after this timeout, brought to you by Casey's General Stores. Casey's, famous for pizza.
Right now, get a free 2-liter with the purchase of any large pizza. Casey's, famous for pizza.
Yellow Blue wants to show you global energy demands are expanding at an alarming rate. Power grids in the U.S. are aging while coal plants continue to close at record rates. Utility rates are at an all-time high and there's no end in sight. If this concerns you, call Yellow Blue, delivering products and services that are not only green, but cost-effective. You can be independent, safe, and secure. We'll show you how at yellowbluetech.com.
All right, welcome back to Takedown. As we dive into the NWCA National Duels, let's start with the championship showdown some of you saw between top-ranked Oklahoma State and the number 2 Nittany Lions of PSU. Competing in front of a Gallagher-Iba record of 14,059 fans, PSU's Nick Suriano ran out to a 3-1 lead over Nick Piccinini, but a second-period injury forced the freshman to forfeit, and OSU took an early 6-point lead. Cade Brock picked up bonus points at 33, topping George Carpenter 17-6. That put the Cowboys up by 10. In a highly controversial match at 141, it was Jimmy Gulliban who pushed Dean Heil to the brink and appeared to pin the defending national champ in the second period, and once again in the third. But the call never came, and Heil pulled out a 3-2 decision to put the Cowboys up 13. Like Heil, undefeated junior Zane Rutherford got all he could handle from second-ranked Anthony Colica, but a minute 51 of riding time was enough to get PSU on the board, 2-1 the final in favor of Rutherford. Sophomore Jason Nolf pulled the Lions within 5, hitting 11 takedowns on his way to a 24-9 tech over 6th-ranked Joe Smith. The Lions' comeback continued at 65. Vincenzo Joseph rolled over 8th-ranked Chandler Rogers, posting a 12-4 major with a minute 39 of riding time. The Cowboys lead down to a single point now. 7th-ranked Mark Hall used a third-period takedown, topping Kyle Kretschmer for the second time on the year, 3-2. Bo Nickel gave the Nittany Lions a little cushion, locking up a first-period cradle and a pin just 38 seconds in over Nolan Boyd. Junior Matt McCutcheon clinched the duel with a pair of third-period takedowns and a 4-3 upset over Preston Weigel, and Nick Nevels made it 6 straight wins for PSU, topping Derek White 10-5 at the heavyweight. Nittany Lions win 27-13. Now let's head to the East Coast. That's where the 5th-ranked Hokies welcome Nebraska. Should have been Iowa. Tech got off to a fast start as Joey Dance used a third-period takedown and near-fall points to win over Timmy Lambert 7-4. That's at 125. 4th-ranked Husker Eric Montoya evened the score with a 6-2 decision over Dennis Gustafson, and Colton McChrystal gave Nebraska the lead, topping Kevin Nordstrom 12-5 at 141. Solomon Chisco used a first-period takedown and near-fall points to defeat Colin Purton 8-5, but the momentum went right back to Nebraska as Tyler Berger topped Sal Mastriani in sudden victory 2-1. It looked like the road team was about to run away with it all after Dustin Williams picked up a pin over Ryan Blees to open the second half, but it was all Hokie after that. Filling in for an injured Zach Epperly, David Brigida used 2 reversals and a third-period near-fall for a come-from-behind win, 13-8. That decision over Nebraska's Justin Arthur. At 184, Tech's Zach Zavosky built an 8-1 lead and then pinned Eric English to tie the duel at 15. We go to overtime at 97, trailing 2-1 in the second tiebreaker. Junior Jared Hott hit a reversal to defeat Aaron Studebaker 3-2. In his final home match, Ty Walls did what he does best, and that's win. The Hokies heavyweight crushed Colin Jensen, collecting 7 takedowns and a 15-5 major. In his final press conference with the Hokies, here's head coach Kevin Dresser.
All right, well, obviously I'm the elephant in the room right now, the big elephant in the room. Obviously I've got, and you read my statement, and I want to talk about the team win, and that's it. So I'm going to start out with just a real brief statement, and then I will talk about wrestling, and I won't talk about anything else. As far as our win tonight, you know, what a great environment. I've obviously sat in the corner in a lot of dual meets, or not on the bench at a lot of dual meets, and to see what kind of effort we made. I mean, even guys like Kevin Nordstrom, who just kind of got back in the lineup, really good effort. We just have to get his gas tank bigger. You get a guy like Sal Mastriani that, you know, just was right there, and that we can't have moral victories, but right there with the third-ranked guy in the nation. So this team is solid. This team is peaking. You know, even at 165 with Ryan Blees is tied up, and he makes one mistake and gets pinned. You know, it's not always about getting your hand raised, but it's about really, really good effort. And so from a coaching standpoint, I take my hat off to my staff. I'm telling you, Roby, Zadok, St. John, they've done an unbelievable job of developing the talent that we've got there. So it was super exciting. What a great crowd. You know, you wrestle all that for a plaque. And we said before that really in the standings and everything, this match didn't matter, but it did matter. It was, you know, it's stepping out there, and it's 2 guys scrapping, shaking hands for bragging rights, and that's what it was all about tonight.
And that brings us to our next story. After 2 weeks of deliberation, Kevin Dresser has agreed to a 7-year deal to become Iowa State's new head coach. The Humboldt native built a national power at Virginia Tech, leading the Hokies to 4 straight top 10 finishes and a program best 4th-place performance in 2016. ISU Athletic Director Jamie Pollard released a statement saying, "I believe this hire will be viewed someday as a very historic one for Iowa State. Kevin is joining our team because he wants to restore Iowa State to its historic place. He shares our vision that it has been far too long since we won our last team championship and fully expects to build the program into a national title contender. We could not be more excited," he went on, to welcome Kevin, Penny, and their children to the Cyclone family. We'll catch up with Coach Dresser over the coming days. Look for that at takedownwrestle.com and on next week's show. We'll be right back after this short timeout. You're watching Takedown, powered by Yellow Blue LED.
Wow, 40 years. Time really flies. Don't seem like it's been that long. It seemed like only yesterday that I started out route delivering it to the stores. For over 40 years, we're really proud to keep the same quality ingredients and not change our recipe. Help us celebrate our 40th anniversary by joining into our cookies recipe contest with a chance to win a Traeger Bronson 20 smoker. You can enter it on our Facebook page or cookiesbbq.com. Thanks for 40 years, and we'll see you in another 40 years.
Cookies is the one.
As we talked briefly about it before the break, Iowa State University has named Kevin Dresser the new head man. At this time, we want to welcome Hall of Fame coach and former Cyclone wrestler Dave Ewing. He joins us from his home in Ankeny, Iowa. Coach is someone with a long history at Iowa State and friendship with Kevin Dresser. What does this hire mean to you?
Well, I think he's an outstanding choice for a lot of reasons. He's a class act to begin with. Local guy. He knows the Midwest. Everybody in the wrestling community I know has a lot of respect for him. He's a true leader. He's a proven winner. Has a passion, for the sport of wrestling. And knowing how he has operated his program over there in Virginia Tech, he's a short-term and long-term planner. He's a great recruiter, communicator. Not only to the kids but the parents and the recruiting process. Those would be some of the top reasons I think he's going to be a great fit.
Next question for I have, Coach, is why was ISU unable to find success under KJ?
Well, I think first of all, I want to say Kevin is a great friend of mine, and sorry that it didn't work out after the years he was there. I know he worked tirelessly to try to get the program, into the top 5 or the top 10, and I don't know the specific reasons, Dan or Scott. I just think that at time, I guess the ship sailed, and it was time to look for somebody else to take over.
What kind of changes do you expect under Dresser in terms of, say, coaching philosophy and overall? How about culture?
Well, I think he'll bring to the table obviously a new environment of freshness and a new start for Iowa State. He's going to bring not only the coaching philosophy that he carries, and that is connecting with every single athlete on the team and their parents and the people in the community, knowing what he did out there, not only at Virginia Tech, but also at the high school program that, he multiplied state championships at.
What will this have? What kind of effect will this have on the recruiting? And are some of the bigger names more likely to remain in names with such a major hire?
Well, just my opinion, of course, but I think because of the hire, again, proven leader and winner, coach of the year, all the accolades speak for themselves. But I think if these, recruits that are maybe on the bubble right now get a chance, and I'm sure they will get a chance to meet Kevin and see the kind of person he is and the plan and the approach that he has, I think the sky's the limit as to how many kids we're going to keep, and of course the new ones we're going to get in the near future.
He inherited a team at Virginia Tech that had won one duel in the year prior to his arrival. Is there any similarities here between Virginia Tech then and Iowa State now?
Yeah, obviously Iowa State has struggled this year. I think we're looking at a 1-10 or a 1-11 season to this point, and I hope only for the best of the guys to finish the season out strong. But yeah, there is a big parallel there, and I think he's accustomed to, starting with teams that need to get to work and have a lot of room for improvement.
We're talking with Dave Ewing, Hall of Fame coach and wrestler, former Iowa State Cyclone himself. Coach, in wrapping this up, what are the first steps towards getting the program back on track? And furthermore, where does this team need help the most?
Well, I think, it's proven that Kevin was able to do the recruiting job and get some top, teams as far as recruiting go. And I'm speaking of Kevin Jackson, but when Kevin Dresser comes in, I think he's just going to continue to do that and roll it over and get his assistants in place, get his system in place, and that all has to take a little bit of time. But I do think we're going to see some pretty quick turnaround, starting next year.
Some would say that his compensation package at Iowa State is one of the best, if not the best, compensation packages assembled for coaches. Some would say it's over $2.2 or $2.3 million over the 7 years. What are your thoughts?
I think it shows that Jamie Pollard was willing to step up and go out there and get the best candidate out there in our country. If you think of the top 10 programs in our country in the NCAA Division I wrestling programs, and you look at the coaches that are there, half of them, they're not moving, they're not leaving the programs they're at, but Kevin Dresser was one that was potentially willing to do that, and I think he's the top guy in the whole country, and I'm glad we went after him and just enthused that we got him. Not to mention the fact that we're going to have his family living in the area too, and happy for the Kevin Dresser family as well.
You were quietly confident during the last 2 weeks, Coach. Each and every time and every day we talked about this particular subject, you and I held it close to the vest. Are you satisfied?
Yes. Kevin's a friend, Dan's a friend, his brother, and really, really happy for that family. I know it's been a stressful time for them, and it's finally coming to closure, and looking forward to him, running the ship.
It's always good talking with you, Dave. We appreciate you taking time to talk to us about your friend, Kevin Dresser, as he gets ready to take on the next big challenge of his life, and that's righting the ship at Iowa State. He'll assume the Cyclone wrestling reins after the NCAA championships. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Scott, and looking forward to Cyclone future.
All right, it's time for a quick timeout. On our way to break, here's American University's head coach Teague Moore with a beginner's guide to folk-style wrestling. You're watching Takedown thanks to Barbarian Apparel.
Another position in the sport of wrestling is called stalling. An athlete could be penalized if they were avoiding action in the sport of wrestling. That could happen two ways. One, if they're wrestling from any position, neutral or top and bottom, and one athlete is simply trying to avoid wrestling, that could be considered stalling. The other, and the one that you'll see most often, is if one athlete simply backs out of bounds, and we'll see that demonstration now by Michael.
The war raged for generations. No amount of bravery and conviction could end the infected, unyielding rage. And with every battle, the evil grew, changed, evolved. The warriors needed nothing short of a miracle to stop the infection, and a miracle they received. Your body is at war against skin infections and diseases each time you step onto the mat. Protect yourself against the invasion. Defense Soap. Defend what you have built.
When looking for a quality pizza, you need a place that makes everything from scratch, using fresh ingredients, 100% real mozzarella. And if you can grab a lotto ticket while you're there, well, lucky you. Casey's, famous for pizza. Right now, get a free 2-liter with the purchase of any large made-from-scratch pizza.
Two weeks ago, we shared a story from NBC Nightly News about Central College wrestler Jaime Miranda. In a story so inspirational, NBC's Harry Smith decided to do a follow-up on Miranda, who's making the most of his opportunities on the mat, in the classroom, and in life.
Central College in Iowa is home to about 1,400 undergraduate students. Among them is an extraordinary senior wrestler whose opponents seem like a piece of cake compared to what he had to overcome just to get to the mat. Harry Smith is an alumnus of Central, and he returned there for our Sunday closer.
Jaime Miranda is a senior at my alma mater, Central College in Pella, Iowa. He's co-captain of the wrestling team. The student body chants his name. Everybody here is pulling for him, but then they have been from the beginning. Coach Eric Van Clay.
I think the biggest thing with Jaime was a kid that everything in life had been an uphill challenge, who just needed a break.
When Jaime was little, his father walked out on him, his mom, and his sister in Aberdeen, Washington. His mother struggled to provide.
We were always in and out of homes. We either couldn't make rent or something, or the power was getting turned off, so we had to leave, or we just got evicted a few times, and sometimes we would have a car, and we would camp out in that for a while.
Camp out?
Yeah.
You were homeless?
Yeah.
A self-described punk, Jaime did time in juvenile detention. Yet by high school, sports and school were keeping him off the streets. Then he learned his mother was dying of cancer.
I had a great mother as like a hero and a protector. So when you have your protector there with you, you feel safe and you feel fine.
Jaime buckled down and dedicated his life to his mother. A half-continent away, Coach Van Clay took notice. Jaime arrived on campus with a hot head and a huge chip on his shoulder.
I have some garbage cans that got their asses kicked because of Jaime Miranda. We lost a duel because he pushed an official.
I punched a wrestler, and then I pushed the referee.
You pushed the referee?
Yeah. It wasn't the best decision, but I was really upset about it, and I did not agree with any of Van Clay's methods or ways at first, the first year and a half I was here.
Coach Van Clay suspended him for the season. And Jaime also learned B's in high school mean little in college.
How hard has college been?
Tremendously hard. Every semester I think about leaving.
I've always told him point blank, quitting is just not an option for you. I'm never going to give up on you. Central College is never going to give up on you, nor can you give up on yourself.
Jaime sought and got help from professors. His teammates and even their parents embraced him too.
He's a special kid. He just exudes personality, and he's grown as such an individual and an inspiration to the rest of the guys on the team.
Jaime's goal is to become an All-American this season, and when he graduates in the spring, he wants to work in law enforcement with kids like him.
My message is going to be that there's a way out, and that your life isn't determined by your circumstances.
Way to be! That was awesome!
I'm so proud of you!
All made a little easier, perhaps, when you find a home.
I just want you to know I'm proud of you.
That's good.
For Sunday Today, Harry Smith, Pella, Iowa.
Again, we want to thank NBC's Harry Smith, the Today Show, and NBC Nightly News, and our friends at Central College for sharing the story of this amazing young man. Don't forget, you can find all the breaking wrestling news, interviews, articles, duel previews, and a lot more anytime at takedownwrestle.com. From our home in Des Moines, Iowa, I'm Scott Casper, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one, everybody.